covers the inventory or set of tables available for an event. In this case, we are running a KO. Same one also applies to a Swiss. We have two different sets of tables. One is the set of tables available for round robins, and the second is the set of table available for the head-to-heads. If you have a large area, a large number, then these fields can be changed in size. The help for this page describes what's going to happen. So this is the describes, and at this point you may want to pause the video and read this help. The format is the style in which we enter the tables. The assignment is how the tables are going to be assigned, and the order is the stationary round robins first, then the stationary head-to-heads, then the available remaining round robins, then the remaining head-to-heads. And the reason is that this is the most efficient way of being able to maximize the usage of the space. With round robins, if you've got a box, say A1 through F13, then by assigning A1 followed by D1 as the first round robins, then that maximizes the use of the space. If we were to assign A1, A2, A3, then we have a table that is not being used. Let me show an example, very simple example, A1 through F20. Now, after we update the inventory, what is going to be displayed next is an inventory map. Now, this can get confusing if there's any errors in the format that's been entered. So it displays up here the old format and the new format. The reason being some of these table inventory can get quite complicated. So we shows the old and the new. And we have an inventory map. This is to help you visualize what is being used. So green is a table that can be used for either a round robin or a head-to-head. So let's try doing slightly differently. Let's say that only A1 through F2 are available. And for the head-to-heads, let's supposing that we have got a set of tables that we want to use first. I'm going to use the double letter format. YY1 through YY16 is the same as YY1 through ZZ16. It assumes with head-to-heads that it's the letter above. So we now have different assignment. And let us assume that we had an A21 and a D22. And we see how the map changes. This lets you visualize and also helps you check for any errors. Common errors are, for example, up here, I'm using a double letter, Y, and only a single letter, so that this lets us make sure that we know exactly what we're going to use. These fields can get quite complicated. I've seen some of these fields, particularly for the larger tournaments, they've got a complicated layout where this can run 3 or 4 lines, simply because as a DIC running the event, you want to be able to assign the tables in the most efficient for you format. There may well be some reasons. So for example, let's say you want to assign these at the from A14, A15, A16 first. You can add tables. So here A14, 15, 16 are going to be assigned first, and I realize it looks like they're being assigned again, but the software is aware and will assign 14 first, then 15, then 16, and it's not going to double use inventories. So let me make this a little bit more complicated, and then we'll show how the actual assignment works. So we've got quite an unusual inventory there. If I go back to, and the event status is showing that we currently had no teams assigned, so I'm going to create a large KO, 123 teams. We have our inventory, and it lets us know that we have 123 teams. We have 60 tables in the round robin and 152 in the head-to-head, so we know that we have more tables available than we have space. So I'm just going to take the defaults for the bracketing, defaults for the matching. Let's go back to the bracketing, and we'll create some head-to-heads so we can look at the assignment for head-to-heads. Done with the bracketing. It's going to take us to the matching screen, then the tabling screen. So now we see how the tables have been assigned. See, A14, A15, A16 have been assigned first. Now, even though that was the order, and we're going to get into this screen later, even though that was the order that was assigned by the computer, we have the ability of being able to override it later. So that covers the inventory.